Alright, howdy y'all, Jackson here at the Jerk Studios, and welcome back to another episode of Ouch. No video today, because both of my co-hosts are dead at the moment, so it's only me today. Let's just hop straight into it. Hopefully it'll be a slightly quicker episode, because it's just my recaps and a little bit information on the other stuff. So let's just kick it off straight into the CFL. So, there's a couple things, there's one thing in the news from last week is that the fan voting for the All-Stars have started, so if you're interested in voting for some All-Stars, you can start doing that now. So, I thought I'd give them a shout-out there for that. So I have one, unfortunately I didn't find out that my co-hosts weren't going to be here until today, basically. So, I already only have the highlight videos for my games, but, oh well. And I'm missing one of the X-League games because they hadn't posted highlights yet when I was making the video. But I will get all those out of the way, but we'll start it off here with the Alouettes versus the Argonauts was the game that I had. So, after Toronto had a early field goal, Montreal get their first touchdown of the game. Toronto would continue to adding field goals, and they would finally get their first touchdown of the game here. Montreal would get a punt return here at the closing moments of the second quarter for the kick return touchdown of the week, basically. The Montreal would have the lead at half. But Toronto takes the lead here about midway through the third with their second touchdown. Montreal reclaimed the lead though, but with 2 minutes left, Toronto would kick a field goal, and then we would add another one a little bit later. Montreal would have one last shot at the end zone here on third down, but would throw a pick at the end of the game. So Toronto won it 37-31 for their second win against the Alouettes, and their and the Montreal third loss overall. So Toronto has played 2 good games against Montreal, and they have like 3 losses to Tiger Cats because football's weird. So anyway, some player stats from that game. We have Fajardo with 20 of 29, 225, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. They didn't run that much because they were down for most of the game, so that a good high-scoring game though. Jed Kelly was 19 of 30, 287, and a pick. Kadeem Carey killed it on the ground. McMahon also good good yardage on his limited carries. Montreal's run defense has not been great, which is unfortunate, but, yeah. So, other games, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers put up 55 points against the Edmonton Elks. McLeod Best Thompson, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions for Edmonton, but he was outplayed here by Zach Claros, who put up 400 yards and 6 touchdowns with no interceptions. So, one of those games where you throw more touchdowns than incompletions. So, impressive game there by Colaros. Then we had Hamilton beat the BC Lions in overtime. This is kind of an unexpected game. Bolivia Mitchell, 315, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Nathan Rourke, 264, no picks, no picks, no touchdowns. William Stanback also had 100 yards on the ground. And then in the last game of the week, the Saskatchewan Roughriders beat the Red Blacks 29-16. Jeremiah Masoli threw 3 picks, so that's probably why they lost. And Trevor Harris put a bunch of yards but no touchdowns through the air, but they picked up 1 on the ground. So that is it for the CFL. On the next league, like I said, I only have one of my games by the Frontiers versus the Rise. Both teams would trade out field goals before Joshua Nixon would get this run up the middle and just prove to be better than everybody in the end zone. Rise would respond with a touchdown of their own, though, and then to close out the first half, they would add a field goal and actually take the lead into halftime. Midway through the third, roughly, the Rise would look forward to taking a 10-point game, but would throw a pick. And then again, here, the Frontiers would respond, and here they would just just show that they're a better team there with that. So they end up cruising from there, 131-13. So, yeah, I didn't translate these yet, so let me go through those. So Frontiers versus the Rise. So Palin Dench, 245 and a touchdown, 245. Trayshawn Nixon was your real MVP on the ground, but Samaji Grant was the guy who had that long touchdown reception out of the backfield for the Frontier. Both quarterbacks took 2 picks. And then, yeah, so it's this close first half, but then the Frontiers pulled away in the second. Here, the Panasonic versus the Phoenix was once again, it was a close first half kind of game, and then in the second half, Panasonic put their foot down. Basically, David Pindle 188 for the Phoenix. Yuya 240, 2 touchdowns for the Impulse. So, yeah. Once again, good first half. So here we had Tokyo Gas kick the crap out of the Lions. They have not. The Mitsubishi Lions have not been good so far this year. They continue to put up single digits basically in all their games. Gerard Evans here, 11 of 22, 135, 2 touchdowns in the air and then 1 on the ground. So good performance by the former Virginia Tech quarterback. And then we had Oriental Bio versus Fujifilm. Silver Stars, a 7-point win. So I believe that keeps Fujifilm still without a win in their first year in the X1 Super. So it looks like a solid passing performance for Oriental Bio here. A less than stellar performance, at least, completion percentage-wise, for Fujifilm. So there is that. Here we have IBM versus OBIC. This is kind of a surprise. IBM with a big comeback here in the fourth quarter to upset the Eagles. So yeah, so they kicked a field goal as time expired here to take the win. So yeah, 250 yards through the air for IBM, just over 200 yards for OBIC. No, 2 touchdowns for Jamal Watanabe. So that is a good showing for him, I guess. Yeah, 2 touchdowns on 3 picks, 3 catches. So yeah. And then finally we had the Challengers versus the Suns, and the Challengers just kicked the crap out of them. So no real competition there. 3 touchdowns for their starter and another touchdown for one of their backups. Yeah, 110 receptions, 111 yards for Boogie Knight. So good performance out of the American there. So in other Major League football news, For the UFL, the Memphis Showboats announced their new head coach, Ken Withenhunt, so former NFL guy there. He's replacing John D. Filippo. Personally, I would have preferred had they brought back Bart Andrews or Mike Riley, because those are experienced spring league coaches that have proven to have winners at these levels. Bart Andrews with the Philadelphia Stars in USFL, and then Mike Riley was good with New Jersey Generals, and then he was also with the San Antonio AAF team. But Ken Withenhunt, at least theoretically, should be a good coach because, NFL experience. But then again, that doesn't necessarily transfer because Jeff Fisher wasn't exactly great in his 1 year at the USFL. Then even college success didn't really transfer because Kevin Sumlin wasn't great with the Houston Gamblers. And they also announced that their season starts March 28th, so we have a kickoff date for that. Over in the IFL, we had the Green Bay Blizzard extended their head coach. And then the Bay Area Panthers actually hired away Les Moss from Northern Arizona to be their new head coach. And then Northern Arizona replaced Moss with Ron James, who had some indoor football coaching experience because he was a two-time AFL Coach of the Year. So that could be theoretically a improvement, depending on if he's kept up with the indoor game, if he can transfer his arena knowledge to indoor, because the game isn't exactly 1-to-1, so we will see. And then in the National Arena League, one big thing that they announced the Beaumont Renegades, but that was pretty much expected if you hadn't been paying attention to the indoor sphere at all. So this team was also sort of in the news recently because Jacoby Jones was going to be their head coach until he unfortunately passed away. So after that, in the Arena League, there was a little bit of news. The Ozark Lunkers has fired their general manager, so we will see who they replace him with in the near future. Over in the Arena Football 1, if you're unfamiliar, this is the rebranded Arena Football League, or at least a recollection of those 8 teams with under a new name. So they had league meetings in Chicago over the week with all the official teams and then some presumptive expansion teams, some of which I'm not super confident in. The official one they've announced so far are the Monterey Kings, the Stockton Crusaders, who have an AI logo, so not very confident in their futures. Monterey, of course, is an international team, that being in Mexico. They had a team in the NIL many years ago. And then they have Wilkes-Barre. That doesn't have a team name yet. I believe they're actually having a name the team contest that I saw on Twitter. So if you want to help name a team, you can go over to their Twitter and look into that. The league made an announcement about all those extra teams that were invited to their meetings to not get too antsy with their announcements, because some of the teams were implying they were part of the league and they haven't exactly officially become part of the league. So it's good that they seem to be vetting their owners, but we will see. They also announced that their free agency period starts tomorrow on the 1st, and I believe that lines up with both the IFL and the NAL as well for their free agency periods. So that should be good. I don't believe we've heard projected salary ratings yet for this league. That being said, I believe it will be substantially lower than the $1,000 that the Arena Football League was set at last year. And honestly, that's probably for the best, because a lot of those teams couldn't actually really afford it. I think this is such a margin sport. You don't want to have more red than black. Last thing over in Major League Rugby, the Dallas Jackals announced that they will not be competing in next year's season, so we will see if they will come back or if they are dead. And then finally, we have the AFL Grand Final here between the Sydney Swans and Brisbane Lions. The game was actually sort of a disappointment. Here, early on in the game, well, actually, after minutes of not scoring, Swans would get the first goal of the game. Brisbane would then find the goal of their own, and then they'd hit a second one, back to back. And then Brisbane would take a 2-goal penalty lead, and then they would, at halftime, they'd go up like over 40, and then they would just cruise and end up winning by 60 points. So yeah, it was kind of. I watched the first half of that game, and it was such a. Sydney was not playing great at all. It was such a disappointing game that I just stopped watching at halftime. Plus, it was also like 1 o'clock in the morning for me, so there's that. So yeah, 60 to 120, 9 goals, 6 behind, to 18 goals, 12 behind. So you can see that. So Sydney had a lead very briefly at the beginning of the game, and then it was all Brisbane from there. So Sydney reverted back to that slump period where they forgot how to play football. Brisbane gets or not, I guess not revenge because they're not replaying the Magpies, but they get closure for their loss in the championship game last year. So yeah, 53% possession, yeah. That mark difference. It's actually inside the 50. Yeah, it's a good game for Brisbane and their defense. Atrocious game for the Sydney Swans. Anyways, I do not have any thing else to close out today. Hopefully I will have one of my co-hosts back next week. I'm not 100% confident. I'm pretty sure Kyle will be back. I'm not sure if Nate will be back. He probably will not be for the foreseeable future. So that is unfortunate. But I will be back next Monday with another week of the CFL. Oh, forgot to make my picks. Let's go do that. So CFL, I'm going to go Winnipeg here because they are hot. But I guess Hamilton's hot too, but Winnipeg is the better team. So Winnipeg there. Calgary, BC. BC has been back and forth, but I guess they should theoretically be the better team. Yeah, Calgary has not been great so far this season. I'll just be different here. I'll be contrarian and go with Edmonton there. X-League, easy. Panasonic is the better team. I gotta go with my Rise. Fujitsu. Ilcom. Yeah. This could be Challengers versus Kobe. This is an interesting game. It's probably the Challengers. Yeah, I guess IBM upset Obic, so I would guess that they probably are the better team then. And then Obic should theoretically kill the Suns. So there's that. Over in college football, we had a average week in the pick'em. So big game by UConn. None of us expected. And then yeah. I guess Old Dominion beating the Bowling Green was also unexpected for us. Anyways, I guess I'll go realistically picking this week instead of the hope picks, And Nate always says Central Arkansas kicks the crap at Abilene, so I imagine that will probably continue. Navy is on like a 3 seat in the championship in the college sprint football, so I will go with Navy there. I don't know on the probably isn't common. Probably I'll go with the Ivy League school. And I haven't lost Kyle yet on this. So I guess I'll go Malloy. So, yeah. Alright, so those are the picks for the week. I have nothing else to promote, so that is it. I will see everybody next week with hopefully at least